So how are airports coping with the rule changes, and will aviation ever fully recover? We're joined by Gordon Dewar, who's Chief Executive of Edinburgh Airport. Good morning, Gordon. Nearly a week at the end of most of the restrictions. How's the week been? How busy have you been?
Well, it's improving, and we've seen some progress in terms of people being able to travel and airlines start to plan, but it's a long, long way still from normality, and a combination of costs and hassle factors still mean that an awful lot of people just won't even think about it. And most importantly, inbound people, so people coming to Scotland, people wanting to come and spend the money here for tourism, or people thinking about coming to university here, they won't come because it's so difficult.
And in terms of the hassle factor, what have you had to do to make the terminal COVID safe? What are passengers facing?
Well, I think that's been in place for a long time. I mean, we had all the usual sort of social separation. We had all the cleaning regime. We've had all of the things you've seen in every other part of normal life when you go to the shops or anything else. So I think we've been well ahead of that. But really, the constraint is about the rules, about how much you have to have tested, how much you have to pay for that.
And I believe there has been some issues with the Scottish vaccination certificates, Gordon.
Yeah, so we're now massively behind just about everyone else in Europe, including, of course, our nearest neighbours in England and Wales and Northern Ireland, where everyone else has got a digital version of that. And we don't, and we're still waiting for one. We still don't even have a date for when we might have one. And what that means is not only is it more hassle in the sense you have to have a bit of paper, but quite a lot of people are now saying that's not acceptable. They're concerned about the ability to forge that. So if you go to France, for example, you might not even be able to get into a restaurant.
And airports and travel agents are saying that there has been an increase in people just wanting to get away. What destinations are people going for? What's the most popular?
Well, people are looking for where they can feel as though it's not going to change. They're not going to get stuck there. They're not going to change from, let's say, from being green to amber or amber to red. So wherever they can see some confidence about that, they'll travel. But even when we make countries green, for example, people are still not travelling anywhere like their usual numbers because they're still concerned about the hassle, and mostly they're concerned about the amount of cost. So even a green country will still require you to have a test when you come back to Scotland at £88. It's apparently going to drop a little bit in cost there, but it's still more expensive than England, which is a massive concern because people are then going to travel through Newcastle or Manchester instead, or they're just not going to travel at all. And certainly we're not going to see any people coming to Scotland because they just see that as unnecessary. Because in Europe, where they're already back to about 3/4 of normal demand in 2019, where we're at 20%. In Europe, if you can travel within the whole continent without any testing, as long as you've been double vaccinated.
How much then would an efficient vaccine passport of a difference make to the industry in Scotland, do you think, Gordon?
Well, it would be, it's not so much the industry, it's about, if you go to France and you're told you can't come to a restaurant because you're Scottish, because you've got a bit of paper, rather than have something on your phone, I think it's a bit ridiculous, it's embarrassing. But the profound thing is we are being more cautious than anywhere else in Europe. We are making it harder and more expensive to travel. And there's no logical reason why that's the case. People are worried about the Delta variant. Well, it was invented here. Why are we being more cautious about people coming to Scotland or to the rest of the UK than people are worried about people coming from France to Germany? I don't understand it. It's not sensible. And we've now got a situation where, despite being an island nation is more depending on aviation than most of Europe, we're making it hard to be here. So we're doing ourselves enormous economic damage. And I can't see the point of it in terms of health concerns, but that's where we are at the moment. So we've just got to get back in step with the rest of Europe.
And getting back in step, though, how long do you think it'll take for you to get back to pre-COVID figures?
Well, it'll happen really quickly if we get rid of the restrictions that are the problem. If we went back to where we were in 2019, which I don't think we're going to do tomorrow, but if we were on track to get back to 2019 lack of restrictions, i.e. no testing, unless it's maybe something of concern around a particular country or part of the world, then we could very quickly persuade airlines that Scotland's a place to invest in again. But at the moment, airlines are looking at Scotland and the UK and saying, well, that's the last place we're going to invest. So it's a long way away.
OK, Gordon, thank you for your time. Much appreciated. That's Gordon Dewar. He's Chief Executive of Edinburgh Airport.